Hey guys, Kev here, and I want to do my full review on this wait, what? That's not what the title said. The title said the Winter Blade Co. Factor. Who put this on my desk? Betsy. I gotta get my assistant. Betsy, hey, Betsy. What's going on here? What's this pouch thing? Supposed to be the cool magnet knife that I've been raving about all over the place? Oh. Okay. Betsy says it's in the pouch. Oh. Look. There it is. Interesting. Okay. I don't know what this pouch is. I got it on Etsy. This is the, I don't know, Longhorn something. Longhorn Supply, I think, maybe, pouch. And I don't know what I was thinking. I was trying to get pouches to put fidgety things in, but this literally holds one thing. Because, like, who puts their shit all in one pouch and has it jiggling around, bouncing off each other? I got, like, $100 this and $100 that and a $500 this. I'm not going to just put them all in there and be like... So, yeah, I have no idea why I bought this. But you can put patches on it. So, hey, cool. Sweet. Moving on. This is the Winter Blade Co. Factor. And I'm ready to do my full review. I'm about to head off to Blade Show in a day or so. And, yeah, I wanted to wrap it up because I'm bringing it down there to pass it on to the next guy. I wasn't cool enough to be given one. Brian, where's my free factor, bro? I'm just kidding. All right, so this came by way of NAF Sergeant. Shout out to Mike, good dude. I wish you were coming to Blade Show, man. But I will buy all the knives for you, so don't worry about it. And I believe Screaming Pirate checked this out as well. I'll probably see Brad at Blade Show. So there you go. Brian from Winter Blade Co. will not be there, so... I'll be the king of the magnet knives down there, if I could speak English. All right, so moving on. Let's talk about this knife. This is a fantastic knife. This is, I think, my favorite knife this year. No, it is my favorite knife this year. It might be my favorite knife ever, is what I meant to say. This is perfect for me. It's a magnet knife. It's a fidgety-ass magnet knife. And it has a sheep's foot blade. And it has a finger choil. It's literally the perfect knife for me. It's like Brian was creating this knife and was thinking about me. Yeah, he didn't even know who I was then, but he was thinking of me. He was like, that Lefty guy, you know, he needs this knife, so I'm going to make it for him. This is a production version of the Factor made by Best Tech, and I got to say, they killed it. Yeah, absolutely crushed it. And like I said, he made it for me. When you switch the clip over to lefty, it actually looks better than it does right-handed because you got this blue clip over on this carbon fiber. What's that all about? Boom, blue. You should be left-handed is all I'm saying. I think Brian's trying to hint at everybody that we should all be lefties. So, yeah. So aesthetically, I think it is magnificent. Yeah, it's a little goofy looking, but... it has that sort of Blade Runner, you know, what do they call it? Cyberpunk looking kind of thing going on to it, right? This is something you'd see in, like, Back to the Future, right? And to me, that's fucking awesome. So I love it. It's unique and different. You know, in the world where we all are like, this looks like that and this looks like that. You know, and I'm guilty of that too. I'm like, you took this knife and that knife and you shoved it together and you made this knife, you mother... This is like, nope, I just made the craziest fucking thing ever. And, yeah, so there you go. Aesthetics perfect. Ergos are good. Now, is this knife going to be your hard use, chopping down trees, cutting horses knife? No, of course it's not going to do those things. This is an EDC knife, okay? Now, is it sturdy enough? Is this lock sturdy enough for that stuff? I think so. By the way, I think the ting comes from the lock. Because if I hold the lock, let's just see what happens. Because left-handed, sometimes I kind of smother the lock. And that, by the way, will make it not engage if you have your finger on it, right? But you hear how it didn't ting? And it's because it's just the lock. But if you just hear it open like this, you still get a little bit of a ting. So I think it's the lock, to be honest, because it's not like it has a hollow grind or anything that would ting very loudly. So anyway, now that we've deciphered why it makes a cool ass sound, we can move on. Yeah, this is not going to be your all-day work knife, okay? Now, there's two reasons that makes no sense. One, it's a 3-inch blade. You don't have a 3-inch work knife. I mean, maybe you do. I don't know. Maybe one of you guys does, and you're going to rip me up in the comments. Please, feel free to leave that comment. I will happily answer it. But two, it's a magnet knife, okay? So let's say I'm working in a place where there's a bunch of like metal and shit. Like I'm in a shop, I'm in a warehouse, whatever, right? You know, it's a magnet knife. Things magnet to it. You know, this is a blade, so it's a terrible example. I don't have anything that's small and steel, so this sucks. But just trust me, there's a magnet down there, 2 of them actually, and these posts, we'll talk about that. And then there's a magnet around here in the locking area. There's a magnet right here, and I assume somewhere down there to where this pops into. So, like I said, it's a magnet knife. So it's not going to be the best for working hard use type shit or at work. This is an EDC knife. If you don't know, EDC stands for Everyday Carry. Welcome to the community. But as an everyday carry knife, this is fantastic. It's comfortable enough for that, right? So, no. Is it the most comfortable knife ever? No, it's not. It just isn't. The corners and everything are all knocked down. It's all good in that sense. And they have a good choil here. I get a good grip, right? But I don't want to bear down very hard and, like, spend, 10 minutes chopping something or cutting something. It's just not meant for that, right? Now, I believe he told me that he's working on an aftermarket backspacer that is black, and I believe he said black, and it will take care of this flipper tabby thing. So it's just going to be in one place. It's not going to be able to go forward like this. It's going to bridge this gap right here. So you're going to have a backspacer that covers this. That'll make it a lot more comfortable, because right now you can kind of fall into that that little slot right here. So that'll be good if for anybody who wants that. If you want to use it for harder use, basically I think what he was saying was when it's like this, it's in fidget mode, and then when you put that aftermarket backspacer in, it's going to go into hard use mode, which makes sense to me. I still think it's not going to be the most comfortable knife just because of the width and everything. It's not super like thick. It's actually relatively thin. I can get the calipers out if I could find them. Here. So let's zero this out. It never wants to zero properly. So you got a shinny, what's it called? Okay, that's good enough for me. So thickness 0.413. See what I mean? Like, it's definitely thin. So I enjoy that part of it, but it is kind of wide here, and then here it's obviously wide, right? Like if we compare it to, here's the Avant from Luft Concepts. You can see it's taller than the Avant, and the Avant has sort of a hump going on. The Nimble from EDC, right there, you can see. Again, it's substantially thicker than that, or taller than that. What do I have? Here's the Kaiser T1, just a thumb stud knife. Obviously, it's going to be a lot taller than that, right? But in this sense, it's thinner, right? It's a good bit thinner, honestly. So ergos are good. They're just not hard use ergos, if that makes sense. So take that however you will, okay? Carry is phenomenal. Yes, it is a bit wide in the pocket, but it's thin. So I honestly had no issues. I was wearing just like, shorts, khaki shorts, and I could reach in easily past it to grab out whatever I needed. I usually carry like a little fidget down there or whatever, and I could reach past that and grab it, no problem. I never felt anything, or, you know, never had any issues. The clip is reversible. One thing I would ask for, it's probably too late already, is an extra screw just to put here for my mental well-being. Just for OCD people, they're going to want that extra screw. I just think it would be cool to have. Is it the end of the world? No. But the carry's good. It's nice and light. It does not weigh a lot because it's a slab of titanium, a slab of carbon fiber. There's a lot of open space in there, right? And then you have a blade with a hole. Like, it's just not a lot going on. G10 here. So it's thin and light, and it really carries well. I had no issue carrying this. I carried this every day since I got it 3 or 4 days ago. I've enjoyed the shit out of it. I cannot stress enough how much I loved carrying this knife, and I honestly don't want to stop. I don't want to give it back. I don't, you know, I want to get one. Tomorrow is the drop for me, you know, so May 31st. This is going to post after that. Hopefully, some of you have one in hand and you're doing this right now, because you are going to be one happy mofo. And some of you, hopefully you got a pre-order so that in 6 months or whatever, you'll be doing this, you know? It's worth the wait. It's worth the money. Just trust me. It's a fantastic piece. Cutting. So it actually has a really good blade on it. It's M390. This one here is a machine satin. Not really a belt satin. It's more of a machine satin, like off the CNC, I guess. I don't know how that works. But it has this sheep's foot blade, reverse tanto, whatever you want to call it. And it's perfect for EDC. Like I was saying, this is a great EDC knife. I cut some shipping labels out with this. Just went up into this pinch grip, put my finger right here, boom. Shipping labels were easy to maneuver, easy to cut out, had no issues. Packages, get into this choil, zip, 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 right? You cut a little bit of fruit, but it's perfect, guys. It really is. Cardboard, you could slice through some cardboard with this, no problem. And it's fantastic. Really, the cutting is great. No, it's not a hollow grind, but it doesn't have thick stock. We could try to check it. You know, I don't know if anybody trusts these calipers, but I do. I don't know why it doesn't, like, I zero it and then it goes to, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? .117. So let's say 0.12 stock, you know, and then you got that flat grind, and it's relatively tall, right? I mean, it's a full flat grind if I understand correctly. It just has a hole in the middle, but they did a full flat. And it comes down to a good edge. It's nice and sharp. I've enjoyed it. I mean, I really have. It was a pleasure to carry an EDC. Again, EDC, right? All right, so couldn't carry sounds. We talked about that. I mean, come on. Let me let it ring. Okay, you get the point. It's awesome. The sounds are amazing. When it flies out, you get a good tactile feel as well. Shoots out rings. And then when you disengage, you get a good, right? You get a really nice click. It's almost like you're racking a shotgun when you close it. It's fantastic. This is the best sounding knife ever, in my opinion. And it does it consistently. It's not one of those where you're like, is it going to do it? You know, I'm pretty sure they're all going to do it. So I can't guarantee that, but yeah, I'm assuming the way it's set up with the magnets and everything, it's going to always do that. All of them will do it. Fidgetability, action, guys. This knife shines brightly. This is the most fun, the best action I've ever felt on a knife. It's just outrageous. It really is. It's ridiculous. So you have a few ways to deploy it. You have this sort of tab here. Now, obviously, a lot of people are like, is that a safety concern if you take this off and then you stick your finger in here? Well, yeah, I mean, it's sharp, But, like, why are you doing that? It's not a knife you can hand to your kid. Well, guess what? I'm not handing my kid this knife either. Because what is she going to do? She's going to open it up and cut herself. So what's the difference between doing that and opening this and cutting yourself? You actually have less of a chance because you don't have a full blade sticking out. You just have this little bit here. Right? I mean, that's just a dumb statement. Watch your kids. Don't give your kids knives unless you taught them how to use knives, right? Come on. All right, sorry. My dog could stick his paw in here, and he could get it caught, and then when the dog's paw slides, it can open, and then, oh my God, my dog is going to cut his little paw. All right, I'm an asshole, sorry. You can deploy it with this flipper tab. It is fantastic. Now, I will say you need to have small hands. Like, okay, I take that back. That makes it sound like I have small hands. I have a large hand. I am big. No. So, if you have small hands, I think this is going to be more enjoyable because you're going to be holding the knife down here because you have small hands, right? If you have bigger hands, like you're going to be up here, right? Especially like me, large glove size hand, not huge. So anything over large, it's going to be annoying to get down here, right? It's already annoying for me because I want to go here. And now I'm afraid I'm going to get zipped with the blade as it comes out, right? Like I'm afraid it's going to slice across my palm. Now it hasn't yet, but I try to keep it out here and do it, right? I'm just waiting for that moment though, where it just goes zip and cuts across my palm. So the flipper thingy, it's fun because you have the option, right? I like that. And it is enjoyable. You can get used to it with a bigger hand. But if you have small hands, you're just going to be like ready to go, right? It's going to be perfect. I wish it was like up here because I could easily just be right here pushing on that, right? So you have that, which is fun. The detent on this thing is incredible. I'm calling it the WMD, the Winter Blade Co. Magnetic Detent, because you have two magnets down here and then you have two posts. And I'll show you. So you see the two posts right there? And then you have the two magnets. And what he told me, Brian told me, was he actually thought it would make more sense if those magnets were attracting, so they would kind of pull the blade in, attract, right? But they're actually opposite polarity magnets in there, and that gave him a stronger detent. And you have these two plastic posts in there, and basically what they do is make sure the blade doesn't get pulled one way or the other by the magnetic force, right? And it essentially auto-centers your blade. It auto-centers your blade because it has to stay between those posts. It's pretty cool, honestly, if you think about it. And then in here you have the magnetic lock, which is kind of like a puck. And this thing actually, you can slide around like when it's closed, which is weird. But it goes up when it's locked up. So you open it, pops out like that a little bit, and then it kind of clicks into place. As I understand it, there's something here, and then you have the puck, and it kind of wedges the blade in, and so it's actually really strong. You have basically two stop pins, I think is what he was telling me. You essentially have two stop pins in there that are keeping the blade from traveling and keeping it locked up. And then you pull this puck down and it just flies down. I mean, it literally just guillotines down. There is no play, no rock, nothing, right? Fantastic. I love the lock, right? So you have this magnetic detent, and because of the magnetic, whatever you call it, it is so snappy. It's the perfect detent in my opinion. It's not too strong to where it's annoying to flick, but it just snaps when it, like, you get to the, it just snaps. And I don't know if it's because of the magnetic stuff or what, but the farther you get away from a pivot usually, the softer a detent gets, right? It just is science, because you're farther away from the pivot point. It's gonna, and that's me being on the lock. You gotta be careful when you're left-handed. But the lower you go, usually it's a weaker detent. On this, I don't really notice that. It feels just as snappy down here as it does up here. It's incredible. It really is. It's my favorite detent ever. is the best way I can put it. I'm already trying to think of ways I can use it on a Devo knife or whatever. I've talked to Brian about some shit. And, you know, I'm thinking, like, you could use that as the detent. Even if you had just a button lock or an axis lock, you could still just utilize that magnetic detent system down there. That'll center your blade, and it'll give you a stronger detent instead of just having, you know, the shitty axis springs that are terrible, right? So, anyway, it's fantastic. I love it. And then, again, you just have this puck pulled down, and it swings down. I mean, it's just, it does everything we want in a fidget knife. Like, that's the thing. What do we want in a fidgety knife, guys? We want it to deploy, we want it to be crisp, and we want it to fly out, lock up, right, and sing. It does that, right? It has multiple deployments. You can use the flipper thingy, you can use the hole as a reverse flick, and then you can use the hole as a thumb flick. And it is fantastic any which way. You can grab it with a ring finger. You know, you can figure out other ways. I'm sure you can do yep, you can do that. I mean, come on. And then it drops shut. It's a guillotine on the shut, and it's not like you have no stick. You have no, it's not hard to pull down. It just, and it just drops. I mean, it's fantastic, guys. It really is. I cannot stress enough that this is the coolest knife I think I've ever handled. I'm so excited about it. I cannot wait to hopefully get one tomorrow myself. Hopefully you guys already got one, because this is, again, in the future. And, yeah, that's really all I have to say about the Winter Blade Co. Factor. Oh, nitpicks. There's one thing on here that bugged me a little bit. Like, yeah, this is a little annoying that this moves in, but I get why, because it's going to pull out and be the flipper tab thingy, right? Makes sense. And he's working on that. The only other thing is right here. You'll see that this portion of the tang sticks out of the handle. And I don't really understand why that's necessary. And I don't know, that could go into the lock. It could go into just the geometry of everything. It had to be that way, or he had to make the handle fatter, and he didn't want to do that. I don't know. But I just would like to see this be flush. Like, I don't really see any reason why that part of the tang couldn't be chopped off. Is it used somehow on this end? Maybe, and that's why it helps keep it closed. I don't know. But this sticks out a little bit, and it's just ever so slightly annoying to me. And that's it. That's really the only thing on this knife. I think personally, in the future, I'd love to see a thinner version, like not as tall. Thin like this is great, but like this way, I'd love to see one that's like just a little bit thinner. I think it would be a bit more comfortable in the hand, and then it would actually be something that would be like, you know, work knife worthy, I think. But again, you got to be careful. Work knife, regardless, no matter how comfortable it is, it has magnets in it, so it's going to suck up all your shavings and shit. It's just, it would not be good for that type of a workplace. But, you know, like cutting cardboard and shit like that, I think it'd be fine for that. And if you made it a little bit thinner, I think it would be a little more comfortable in the hand. But that's really the only things I can say about this knife that I would nitpick. And even that is like, just, I had to come up with shit. So, Winter Blade Co. Factor is the coolest knife of 2022, and honestly, it's the coolest knife ever. I highly recommend you go check out his feed on Instagram if you haven't. I'll hopefully link that down below. Brian's Instagram is a plethora of just cool. Like, he has these cool devices he created where he shoots out, like, little spikes, and he set up like a CO2 thing on it and shoots it out. He has OTFs with magnets. He has single action OTFs, double action OTFs. He does all types of shit with magnets and just cool stuff in general on his Instagram. And then he just has awesome aesthetic too. He loves like a carbon fiber side and a titanium side. And he has that like steampunk or Blade Runner look to it all. And it's just cool. So, Brian, thank you so much for letting me check this out, dude. I truly appreciate it. It means a lot that, you know, you let me check it out. And I wish you the absolute best in the future, dude. You are on track for an absolute just monster trajectory. And it's going to be awesome to watch. So, I love the knife. I love you guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Hopefully you let me know if you got one or if you got one on pre-order. And I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I will catch you later.